It's given. It's given. It's given.
Have we sung it all?
I feel like I wore this before on camera before y'all, but I don't give a finnick.
I don't think you did.
I haven't?
No, I don't. It's cute, whatever. It's
We
cute or
here.
whatever.
Can we get to this look? I'm loving this look. It's so cute.
Yes, queen, yes, queen, yes, queen.
Yeah, she walked in. I'm like, where is you going?
Nowhere.
It's cute. I'm loving
To the
it.
studio.
It's Saturday, last days of summer. Got to keep it cute. Punish mute. I got to trademark that. That's my
today.
cousin be saying that stuff. Goddamn kablam. That's Jaylene. I ain't gonna take that. I ain't gonna take credit. I'm a trademarker for her.
I love that.
The goddamn kablam. Goddamn kablam.
Y'all be killing me with that one. Y'all really do.
So, that song is still channeling. I know you've seen a lot of things in your life. Okay, so today, squirrel. Today we are talking vulnerability, which I think is something that we could definitely unpack.
I be trying, but
She be getting on my
vulnerability
nerves.
is not my forte. I'm not even gonna lie
I
to
feel
y'all.
like I'm more into the vulnerable
not.
state now than ever.
Okay.
So
I can see that.
I had to surrender to spirit and to the people around me who love me and show me time and time again that they're the same person and that they always have my back.
I'm getting acclimated to it.
Yes.
I know I'm a tough cookie, y'all.
She gets a little rigid sometimes.
I know I know that about me, though.
I'd be like,
and I really know
I
that.
thought it was me. I'm like,
I know that about me, but I'm trying.
yeah, I be shaking the
Sis is
table.
trying.
We be shaking the table.
She do. She be.
So I'm like, girl,
I
what
know.
are we talking about? What are we really talking about?
Also, show them what you sipping on. What you sipping on?
Oh, we are so bougie in the city. We're drinking matcha. Oh wait, I want you guys to see my arms because I'll be living a very natural life sometimes. So I don't want to blind y'all with the armpits. It's giving wild thornberry.
Why is she doing this?
But I'm gonna put my arm like this. We got matcha, y'all. We got matcha today.
Okay, anyway. We are too giggly today. All right. So vulnerability. I'm gonna just jump into the question because I feel like these are really good questions.
They
that
were.
we just off the dome last night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so do you think you're good at being vulnerable? Why or why not? And before you answer that,
Yeah.
what is being vulnerable to you in general?
Okay, so
what does that
let me
mean?
start off with that.
Yeah.
Being sorry guys, these bracelets. Being vulnerable to me is, I feel like it has to do with trust. I feel like being vulnerable is that you're being comfortable with other people and showing who you are without feeling like they can use it as a weapon.
Ooh, weaponizing it.
Weaponizing it, and also to just be yourself and be comfortable and being free. Like I said, surrendering. I feel like that's what vulnerability is when you are finally I have these feelings, I have these traumas, but it doesn't make me. And
Right.
if somebody uses that against me, that's more of them than me.
Love it.
So yeah.
I don't even think I could top that. Not that I'm trying to top it, but I can't even come back with she said what I said.
Yeah, because that's what it means to me. But
she said what I was thinking.
actually, it's funny. Me and Michael just having a conversation on the way here, and I was telling him I was just never. I was telling you last night too. Part of me not being a vulnerable person was I said I had a lot of feelings growing up, right? So I was like a crybaby, and people would tell me you're such a crybaby, just stop crying all the time. So at one point, I want to say between 5 and 8, I just stopped crying. I just didn't cry like that.
Isn't that crazy how as children we're just so molded?
Yeah.
And the things that our siblings and our parents teach us, it's
And
it sticks with us.
Yeah, and
it really sticks with you.
To this day, I always tell people just cry it out, because crying to me is so therapeutic to me. I think that I honor that now in my older age because I was told so much not to cry, but I felt a lot. I felt immensely,
You've always been
yeah,
a
I was a
feeler.
feeler. I feel everything. We were watching Katrina Babies, and I know my guy. I was like, don't be mad if I cry, because it was just the stories of everybody and what they went through. I get empathetic.
Yes.
Because it's a different experience, But regardless, I am more vulnerable now. I was telling him on the way here, I wasn't always vulnerable because of what I've seen, and then what I come from, and I just felt like being tough. If I don't get close to you and I don't surrender to you and I don't commit, then how can I ever get hurt? So that was my theory for a long time.
So you had a wall up the whole time.
Yeah, it's
You know what's funny? when you said that last night, I actually went back and I'm like, what made me not vulnerable? Because I'm not a very vulnerable person, y'all. I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. I'm working on it. But my childhood,
But
too.
I think people think they look at you and I think they think you
I
are.
am. I know.
And it's the opposite. So they look at me and they're like, she's DMX. Like in my house, the running joke is DMX. Like I'm DMX, but DMX feels very passionately. Yeah. Like God rest his soul, but he was a passionate person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good sound bite.
I'm done.
But I think they look and they don't think that.
Yeah, no, I'm not, y'all. It's really hard to penetrate. It is.
It is.
And I went back to my childhood, I'm like, well, what I saw too was not very. Do you know? Okay, so about to plug y'all. Corny Dads. I was watching Corny Dads.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to y'all. And I don't know.
They
his
got good
name.
material.
One of them said their mother never really hugged them.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that.
And
I saw that.
I felt that in my soul because Mama Mercedes love you, but she was not a very affectionate person. And my grandmother never said I love you. Never heard that. Never hugged her. Never kissed her.
She was tough.
That's where I get it from. And I feel like that's where
they were very West Indian.
Very West Indian.
Very West Indian.
Very West Indian. Very hard. And that's where I get it from. I think that's where it is rooted in. I really do.
I think that I was able to be soft with my dad.
But I change it with my own son.
Yeah.
So I'm very vulnerable as a parent, but as my own self, it's really hard to do that with other people.
Yeah.
But I try to, like he said, you break generational curses by not repeating patterns that your parents do.
It's kind of what Paige said on her thing yesterday. I don't know if you saw the thread about mothers.
Yes, I saw that.
And I felt that immensely. Like I felt when she was like, breaking generational curses is parenting softly, and not like how your parents parented. Because they parented out of survival.
Yeah, they did.
So I think that we have all this hardening because of what we saw. I think once I was telling Mike this too. I think once I hit 18 and my parents started going through what they went through, and I saw my experience is very weird. It was very extreme.
Yeah, because it was there and then it wasn't there.
I saw parents doting. Like my parents loved each other. Like I saw my father kind of like what I see with my partner today. Like he was just, whatever you need, I got you. Like he was very affectionate. Partner. Like he would go out and come back with things for her. Regardless of what underlying stuff was going on, I just saw a man really truly be enamored with a woman. Yeah. So to me, I was like, okay, well that's gonna be like when I have a person that's gonna be like that for me. But then, in the blink of an eye, it switched. Yeah. And I was telling him, to me, what boggles my mind with vulnerability is everybody that I know have been with people and it's just changed. Like you can love somebody so intensely. Yeah. And then I hear that in the next year or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10,
together.
They're like, I can't stand them.
And it's like, what happened?
And that is so scary to me.
Just romantic relationships, even friendships.
Friendships.
Yes.
It's so scary to me. But I have to say, there's no friendship that I lost, vulnerable-wise, that I felt like I can't stand them. No, I feel
me either.
I feel more like we just not the same.
We're not the same. It's fine.
I can't pour into you because
whatever happened, and it happened for a reason. And
how can I expect you to love me right if you can't love yourself right?
Oh, that's true. That's
the
very
fuck?
true.
Like you don't even treat yourself right. The fuck are you gonna love me? The fuck. So, yeah, I think that's. Being told not to cry and then seeing what my parents went through. I just went through my 20s. Like, there ain't no point in having feelings, because if I give you feelings, then that's the way for you to hurt me.
Yeah, I was just always taught not to trust anybody, and I think that's where my vulnerability was kind of like.
That's another thing, because I don't trust nobody.
Yeah, but I feel like that was ingrained in me. Without me even just being that way, it was kind of ingrained in me to not trust people.
So do you feel like it stayed with you? Because I feel like my parents...
Yeah, absolutely.
My mom was big on not trusting people. You don't tell nobody what's going on in the house. But I feel like when my parents went through their divorce and when they were going through the separation, all I had was my people. All I had was my friends. Yeah. So I never... And my mom was a pretty closed off person. She doesn't have a lot of friends like me and my sisters,
It's funny, though, because then they opened it up, though.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know that, but,
yeah.
Yeah. They opened it up. And I don't know. It just was ingrained in me, y'all. And like I said, I'm working on it. It's an everyday kind of thing with all my relationships, romantic, friendships.
Yeah.
Just in general.
I think there's people who have been friends with you for years and are still like
yeah,
they haven't
what's
seen
that
you,
about, though, y'all?
Because you haven't seen you get vulnerable. Because I think you're just a private person.
I guess.
You private. Because even when we talk, sometimes if it gets too deep, you're like, all right, I'm done. And I'm like, well, girl, you brought it to me. So why are you just waving it off?
I did.
Yes. But, all right, I'm over it. It was was just a thought. It was a passing thought.
I think that's a Taurus trait, though. It's just like you go through the most traumatic experience of your life, and then you're like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is, and it's like, no, girl, but that's not normal.
But I'm a realist. In my head, I'm like, well, if you brought it up, it has to be something that is on your heart.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to bring it to you unless it's on my heart or on my mind, you know, or both, you know.
Akina's favorite line when I bring something to her, and I'm like, whatever, it doesn't matter. She'll be like, but what are we really talking about then?
Honestly.
But what are we talking about then? So why would we talk about this?
I'm happy. No, for real. Like,
I'm like, I don't know.
I am so happy she said that to y'all because I only say that to Brittany. I'm so happy she picked it up and that she noticed that's something that I only use with her. I'd be like, so what are we really talking about? Yeah.
I'm receptive. I know.
I'd be like, so what are we really talking about, Britt? And she's like, whatever, bitch. And I'm like, I'm just saying. I'm just trying to get you to hear yourself when you're talking to me. Because I hear you, but do you hear it? That's so funny.
I be trying.
Yeah, but like, okay.
But I try.
So do you feel like I'm a space for you to be able to go to our next question? What are spaces that allow you to feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable? Actually, you talked about being good at vulnerability. You never said yes or no.
If I'm good at being vulnerable?
Yes.
I think these days I'm trying. All we can do is try, right?
That's good.
I'm trying to be a lot more vulnerable in my life in my 30s. Yeah. I am. And I think I'm doing a better job than I've ever done. Honestly.
Yes, I will say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. And that's what I'm going to leave y'all with that.
You know, I feel like you were vulnerable before, too. But I think that you have moments.
People have manipulated my vulnerability.
I'm about to say, I think that you've been vulnerable with the wrong people and didn't realize it.
I've tried. See, okay, so I haven't always been vulnerable. And then when I've tried to open up to be vulnerable and I've gotten burned for it, you know, that's why I'm like, see, that's why I'm not vulnerable. Yeah. This is why.
I think one of your last encounters, I think it set you back with the vulnerability. I think you were getting there, and then they played upon your head top. They play upon the head top.
Take me for idiot.
So she had to burn the fire, you know. And
I'm not that crazy though.
No, I am. So you could try if you want to. With my friends, not my man, but my friends. Okay. So. Yeah. I think that once that happened, I think it set you back a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
Mm-hmm.
It
definitely
did. But me try.
Yeah.
That's all we could do is me try.
It's the me try part.
Me try.
She do not be giving a fit, y'all. She don't give a fit, okay? She be like, yeah, whatever.
It's my truth. I be trying.
I am about to bend because I'm on this screen. It is what it is.
This is me. The fuck? Sorry.
TF question mark. All right.
But yeah, so I be trying, and I feel like the spaces that allow me to be vulnerable. So I do think that my friends like you, you do a great job at opening the floor and like, well, let's unpack this then.
Yeah.
But you're not my therapist.
Yeah.
You know, I try not to do that to my friends.
I feel like you and Jen though. I think because of where we've been in our lives, and I think you know what it is. Not to like gloat or like talk about myself. I just think that you guys seen me go.
Yeah.
I think you guys seen me in different phases.
Yeah.
And I think in this
non-judgmental.
Yeah, and I think in this phase you're like, you don't even act like you still could be crazy, but you take time to hear people's points of view. Yeah, and I think because even I was talking to Jen and then she was like, I just feel like, you know, like you're just more level-headed now. So I like to bring things to you because.
But you know what's funny? I've always thought you were level-headed. I always loved when we were younger. When we were younger, I remember being in my old bedroom and just sitting on my bed talking to you about stuff, and I'm like, she's such a great person to talk to about stuff like that. No, you've always had like great advice.
Yeah,
you've always had great advice. She would go crazy.
It's my Taurus. It's my Mercury Taurus.
Oh.
My Taurus and Mercury.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
I know.
I feel like I told you that before.
Yeah,
though.
when I found out, I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
But I feel like I've always been able to talk to you about things.
Yeah, definitely. Because we have this open floor. I just think it's, you know, I also...
All my friends, though.
Friends are not therapists, but friends can see in a different perspective than you sometimes.
Yeah.
And they can open up your mind. Like, there's times... last week, what you say to me, you're like, girl, chill the hell out.
Oh, yeah.
Let that man live. So I think that you need that sometimes. And real friends are going... That's vulnerability. Real friends are going to tell you where you can show up at better.
Yeah.
They just are.
That's a word. That is a word.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't tell me that everything's all good if it's not all good.
If it's not,
I don't need that kind of friend.
If I'm being excuse my language. If I'm being a bitch, a cunny ass bitch, you tell me.
Let me know, yeah.
You like, yo, chill out. Like, you feeling yourself a lot. Like, I'm not saying you should want things and want a certain life, yes. But like you said, give credit to the man that tries. And it really stuck with me, you know? And I'm like, you know what? I'd be crazy. Like I want this perfection thing, and life is not perfect. It's perfect how you make it.
The caffeine is giving me the shake, sorry.
Yeah. I was like, she fucking up that matcha for real. Nada. No matcha. I'm over here like, damn, mister, my cup is full. This cup is run over.
Green tea is strong, y'all. I'm over here like.
But it's settling my tummy, so it's good. So yeah, so other than that, the spaces, you feel like it's like your friends?
People in general that just, I guess not, or don't give off the vibe that they're judging.
Yeah, that's hard.
Where you're coming from. And I feel like I'm good at reading that. So that's why I'm kind of quiet when I don't share things with a lot of people.
You are definitely good at that.
You know, so it's like, if you make me feel like I'm comfortable to just come as I am and lay my shit on the table, then that's a space that I feel comfortable being vulnerable in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my spaces, let me think. Definitely my friends. Is it safe to say yourself?
Of course.
Because I feel like I feel like I'm good at, for the most part, sometimes of like being vulnerable with myself and kind of being like, nah, bitch, you know you could do that better. Like that and my friends. But like you said, I'm definitely not everybody. Not everybody. Only like a select few can really see the real me. Yeah. Like the vulnerable part. I feel like like I told you yesterday, I've had more vulnerable boyfriends than all my boyfriends, I think, in my past have been vulnerable. Yeah. I've been the one that's like, man,
you've always
been
the more dominant one.
I've always been the more dominant one, personality-wise. I just, you know, and they've always been able to be open. Yeah. And I think for me, I think the person I date now is the most open I've been because he is who he is. He's been able to step out of my situation and look at the whole big picture of my whole family, what I come from, the things I've been through.
So do you think your partner makes you feel more vulnerable?
Oh, definitely.
Or helps you be more vulnerable?
Helps me be more vulnerable because he loves me regardless. So I think that when I talk about these things, for him, it's just like, I know.
Get you a good man, like a good bro.
Support. I think that he understands my hardness or like my lack of vulnerability because of the cards I've been dealt.
Ooh.
You know, and I think that
what does Pink Sweat say? We all got baggage, but I can help you unpack it.
He definitely helps me unpack it. I mean, when we were on our way here, we were talking about it, and I said to him, I said, you know, it's been hard for me to surrender because I've always felt if I don't give in all the way, then there's no way you can hurt me. Even down to like cheating.
I guess that's how I feel too.
I used to get ahead of it, so if you did it to me, I wouldn't hurt because I cheated on you already.
Yeah, you. We ain't gonna go there.
Yes.
Sis.
It was very hard for me.
Yeah.
I think now at 32 and going through different chapters in my life.
It's like a 180, bro.
I'm definitely open.
Not that she was terrible, just like but like your mindset is like
totally different.
Totally different.
It's just like because you have to like live, and I feel like not being vulnerable helps you to not live and enjoy the moment.
Even okay, so even in my own personal experiences, like going out and just being and like you said, just living, I had to really come into that as well and just be vulnerable because that's part of being vulnerable, right? Just being and not caring. Because I used to. If Read the Room was a person, that's me.
And it's not to say...
And that's not being vulnerable.
And it's not. And it's also not to... We're not also going to negate the fact that sometimes you walk into a room and you can feel a bit insecure, right? I'm not saying that's what the issue is, but I'll speak from me. I could walk into a room and sometimes maybe I feel a little insecure, okay? So I'm just a little bit more like guarded, right? Because I'm like, let me just get myself ready to not be chosen. Like me and Michael were just talking about that. Let me get ready in case like they don't come up to me first. Let me just be ready. Okay. So I think that it could come off like you're stush when really it's just like it's you in your head.
And for me, it's not about me being chosen. I'm just like, I don't know if I've been like you. Yeah, that's the problem.
And it's funny because I think that if like say I was single again, I feel like you know that would be something where I would think about more. I think that in my singlehood. I think it was a little bit of both. Some days, and I'm very back and forth.
Well, of course, yeah.
Some days I'm like, well, it's a you thing because I'm the bomb. But then other days it's like, well, society just gets on my nerves because of how they are. I feel like
that's being human, though. That's just part of being human. Balance. Everybody's insecure. You can't tell me not. if you say you're not insecure about something, you a liar. But I feel like that's part of being human. Sometimes there's a balance of just like, is it me or is it them kind of thing.
And I also think too, I think confidence can make people think that you don't have insecurities.
Yeah.
So I think because I am a confident Black woman, I think that they don't think there's any vulnerabilities or any insecurities.
Well, that also caught me off guard. I will tell you that. Being friends with you for a very long time.
Yeah, my sisters too.
I was even caught off guard when you said something about, I don't know, you were sharing an insecurity, and I was like, "You're what?"
Yeah, my sister.
You're not.
Yeah, my sisters too. I remember us being in Florida. I will never forget. We were all in the car together, and we were talking about. I was talking to Mike about this too. I was talking to Mike about when I walk into a room, I kind of just like I'm me, but for the most part, I have this mindset of like, don't let it get the best of you if you like somebody doesn't walk up to you first. Like, they might not like Black women.
I mean, that's a real thing.
And Michael,
you shouldn't think like that.
But I do, because if not, I feel like then the impact would be greater if I didn't. I think the
We're
impact,
unpacking here.
Yeah, I feel like the impact would be greater on me as a Black woman if I just went into it, and every time somebody didn't choose me, it would make me feel like it's a me thing when really it's a them thing. You know. So when I told my sisters that,
can you please read the 4 agreements?
So great. I thought you were rereading it.
So good.
I'm so happy for you.
It's hitting my soul differently this time.
You know, watching you read it, I was like, you know what, I gotta reread it again too.
And many people have hit me up, and this girl actually bought it. She's like, oh my God, I'm done with the book already. I loved it.
The 4 agreements, like that.
It's
like,
really good.
But it's one of those great books you could always go.
And it's not very long.
You ever read The Mastery of Love yet?
I did not.
Girl, please read The Mastery of Love.
I read a little bit of it, but not all of it.
Oh my God, please read because if you love 4 agreements, you're gonna love The Mastery of Love.
I read a little bit, but not all of it. But I will.
It's the love vibration. I think that if more people moved in the love vibration, it wouldn't
matter. Nothing would matter.
You know, people will be more vulnerable because we're also in this day of age where it's like, I don't want you to know that I like you more than you like me.
Oh well.
Like, I gotta get a one up. Like,
I'm gonna sip my matcha on that.
But to me, like, the best times is knowing that you guys both like each other and just being open and just having feelings. Like, and if it does hurt, just cry it out intensely. Like, you will be fine. You were fine before you met this person. You're gonna be fine after them.
I know. Yeah.
You know, I've never been afraid to start over.
You shut up.
It's true. It's so true because
she's low-key talking
It's true. It's so true. I mean, vulnerability goes into so many things. Like, you know, so it's funny you talk about it because when I said it to my sisters, I will never forget, we were all in the car and I told them about my insecurities. I was like, yeah, when I walk into a room with certain people, you know, I just think like I'm not their first choice. And they're like, they looked at me like, you just think that's normal to think like that? And I'm like, no, it's just the way I stay humble. And they're like,
that's really, but
and they're like,
yourself.
What?
I mean, you don't gotta worry about that now. But I'm just saying,
but they're like, excuse me? Yeah. I've said it to my boyfriend, and he's like, what?
I'm sorry. My friends, listen.
We're beautiful. Yes.
I will gloat.
But I think, like I said to him earlier, I just think because I am a chocolate woman. Despite this, because I
think that's what makes you more desirable.
Oh, thank you. But I just think that the type of
I've always wanted to be a little more chocolate.
But it also means the type of. But we don't
chocolate queen.
So we don't go into
that as a sound bite.
It also goes into like the type of people you're meeting and where they're at in their head,
but
right?
People stupid.
People dumb.
Are not moving in the same vibration that you're moving in.
And you know, I was watching. You know, I love Deval and they're white. I love Kadeem. I love them. And I was telling Michael that in the interview, he basically said like, I can't see myself now with a Black woman because to me, that's a part of self-love.
This what gets me though, because I talk to a lot of Black men who say the same thing, but then you have this fetish for. This is another conversation for another day.
Me and Brittany be observing.
You have. Because I had a whole conversation with my exes. Okay,
sorry,
I was with my ex,
side note.
a friend, and his friend was talking some stupid shit. Yeah. He was like, you know, I just love dating me like a Hispanic or non-Black woman, but like
he said that.
Yes, but he was like, but I can't see myself not dating a Black woman. I said, what kind of sense does that make, bro?
That would be making no sense.
So I just want you to know, you sounded really dumb. You're a very smart man, but that was a dumbass comment that you made. And I sat back and I said, you know that shit?
But you know why?
Because
it goes back to what I said. And if anybody has a chance, like they were on a panel, it goes back to what he said. When I come home from a long day and I talk about my plight as a Black man, I don't want you telling me it's always about color.
Right.
You can't be vulnerable.
Right.
Because they're like, oh, always talking about this color. But it's like, if I talk to a Black woman, my Black woman, when I get home, guess what? She went through probably the same thing I went through that day.
Right. And I was also trying to explain. That's never mind. We're getting off topic. But
Yeah, but it goes back to vulnerability.
Y'all know how we feel about that.
Yeah,
I'm going to go on to
definitely.
the next question and ask you, when do you find it hard to express your vulnerability? Like, when is it hard for you to just be like, damn, I can't be vulnerable right now?
When I can't figure somebody out. If that makes sense. Like if I'm sitting across from you and we're all together, and out of the whole table you seem the most surface, I cannot.
Okay. So you can't open up to somebody who's not opening up. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I don't like it. If you notice, there's certain people I don't. There's certain people I do not like to be around because I feel like it's merely surface. And if I think you're a surface person, or you want to do surface things, then I cannot really be around you. Like. I can't really be myself. Because anybody that I have a relationship with, I feel like we're vulnerable with each other. Facts. I get that.
So it's definitely that, I'm definitely not going to be vulnerable at work because I don't trust no motherfucking body. So, no.
No, work is a different story.
But yeah, if I'm around people who seem surface, I'm going to remove myself. And I can't be vulnerable with you because, like, are you just listening to things so you could have something on me?
You know what my problem is, though, with people, too? I'm sorry, I'm like having a flashback of what you said about people not thinking that I am vulnerable. Sometimes it's like, but do you really want me to be vulnerable or do you just want to know my shit?
So I think sometimes...
Okay, so that's something to think about,
People
right?
gonna watch this.
I don't care.
And I think sometimes some of the people you have around you, I feel like because you're just always comfortable being in your own zone, I think people want to... This is just me reading my energy. This is energy reading. I feel like they want to know the vulnerable parts of you to humble you.
Guess what? You could never. And you know why you could never? I'm not saying that in like a very...
asshole way. No, definitely not. Definitely
not. It's because I own my fucking story. Everything that I say is what I want you to know. So anything that I'm saying to you, I can never feel bad about because
and that's
I went
how I feel.
It.
I 100%.
You can never use whatever I say against me because I want the people to know. Because it could help somebody else.
I 100% agree with you.
And it's therapeutic for me.
I 100% agree with you. Because if I'm being vulnerable, and transparent, because I always say this to people, it's like so many people go through what we go through as women.
And don't talk about it.
And don't
act like
talk
it's all
about
good. It's not all good. You're human. You're having a human experience.
Hence, we're doing this.
Okay.
So, I feel, because, I've had people say to me, even like growing up, my mom, like, you can't tell me what's going on because, So nowadays, I'll be vulnerable with you, but to a certain extent.
Yeah.
If I feel like it's a one-way exchange, I'm pulling back.
See? That's how I feel.
And furthermore, I have to practice discernment because on a spiritual level, some of these people want to know what your Achilles heel is, so they can use it to fuck against you.
So that's what I'm saying.
You have to practice discernment when it comes to vulnerability.
Do people think that I'm not vulnerable because they want to know certain things about me, or do they just really want to know me as a person? That's the thing. I
think it shows up in consistency. That's how you'll know. For you.
Yeah. And not a lot of motherfuckers are consistent.
And not in and out. Because I think you have people around you sometimes that are in and out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a read.
It's a read.
It's a read.
It's a read. Watch this.
I think that too. I feel like, especially like internet-wise, I feel like people jump in and out to see like, oh, she's still where she at? Okay, I'm going to jump back out. I just want to make sure she's not like she didn't hit yet. She's still regular. Little do you know. Little do you guys know.
I didn't know you had that one.
Purple emoji with the horns. It's my favorite.
Oh, Lord. But yeah.
So it goes back to like our question: is there such thing as being too vulnerable too soon?
It's funny. So we had
a good conversation.
So we had a good. Yes, we had a good powwow last night, and we had a man's perspective. So, Akina's man, he was like, I feel like some women can be too vulnerable too soon in like romantic settings, right? And I thought to myself, I'm like, that is true. Yeah. But then I'm also gonna fuck your head up with this one. Yeah. Because don't you are who you are.
Like I am who I am.
You are who you are, and I feel like if you are who you are and it scares a person off, then they're meant to be scared off. Yeah. Because it's like, you can't handle me then.
That's a word, because I feel like you're talking to me when I was in my singlehood.
But he's also stating just people in general. Yeah. People are like that. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not above it. I'm a person who's like, especially my Taurus come out, if you put too much out on the table right now, I'm like,
Yeah.
I get really scared.
There's
I'm
too
like,
much
why? There's too much. You're throwing so much at me right now. Can we just like chill?
And I'm the total opposite.
Yeah, but it's really. I feel like you should pour your heart out.
I'm the total opposite. If you're not pouring your heart out to me,
because you like to see it,
I need to see it, and then that means something's wrong with you.
Something's wrong with
like,
you.
I'm giving you myself, and you can't be vulnerable with. It's me. Like, I'm chill. Like,
but you know what's funny? I went through the same thing. Sis, I'm like, it's me. You can tell me anything. I'm not a person who's gonna. But people just have their own wounds.
Yeah, and the people I was dating at the time, I just think that they were just so jaded and wounded that it was like they must have dated people who used it against them. So when it got to me, it was like, okay, girl. So what? That's what the last person said, you know? And I think that you used it against me. But, you know, I was just authentically me, you know?
Right.
And I think that, like you said, it's a lot for somebody to take in when you're so comfortable with who you are and where you're at and what makes you happy, what makes you sad. And talk about, I remember dating one person in particular where I was like, what is your biggest fear? Because I used to ask that question, like, what is your biggest fear? And he just couldn't answer it. So you telling me you walking around this earth and you don't know what your biggest fear is?
It's probably too many fears and he didn't want to explain it to you.
Yeah, but that's weird to me because it's like, who am I? I'm not God. I can't change your destiny. So you just telling me, for all you know, you could tell me I could change that whole trajectory for you because you opened it.
People aren't walking in the same vibration.
They weren't. So, and it goes back to like, you know, dating people who are on
that.
Right. So I was dating with people who were on, or I even dated some people who acted like they were on that vibration, but when it was really time to show up, they couldn't.
Like that meme I posted the other day.
Which one?
When I tell men that I'm spiritual and they be like, you know, I think the world is just what it is, and it's like, you know, trying to be so profound, and it's like,
and it's
you
like,
don't know what I'm talking about, boy.
Like how Mike said, wolves in sheep's clothing. I definitely experienced that too, because it's like, okay, she's like witchy. Okay, she's got witchy vagina. Okay, so how do I like get into that? Okay, so let me just act like I'm just as vulnerable as her when really it's all surface bullshit. So yeah. Yeah, but I will say, seriously, boyfriends-wise, I've had more vulnerable boyfriends than I've been vulnerable. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the person I date now has helped me to be more vulnerable than, like, anyone I ever dated.
So I think I know this answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Do you think anybody's ever manipulated your vulnerability?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think I was in a weak time in my life where, even though I was single and I was okay being single, I think that I learned... I was trying to be so not like my 20s that I was extra vulnerable. So
you tried to do the extreme.
I was extreme. So I was like extra vulnerable. Like I was really hardened in my 20s. So I was like, okay, well now maybe I have to work on like being softer and being more vulnerable. And I feel like they definitely manipulate. I feel like I've met a couple people who manipulated that. And then when I took heed, it was like, oh nigga, no. Like I pull back immediately. I find like I know because I'm only gonna be nice for so long. I'm only going to be nice and open for so long. The minute I like catch on, it's like, oh nigga, fuck you. I don't even know who you are.
Right.
Who?
I'm telling you all these parts of me. And
Left
I'm
on
not
scene,
getting anything.
And I love it. I revel in somebody thinking they got me. I'm gonna show you how you play yourself, and I'm gonna keep flourishing. Period.
Yeah.
How about you? Yeah.
Somebody get a close up of this.
Yeah.
Yes. And fuck y'all who did. I'm looking at each camera. Fuck everyone who did. Because God knows my heart. You know what I'm saying? And I really try. All we can do is try now to be a good person. So I feel like when somebody really fucks me over or manipulates that, it's like, God damn, you ain't got no soul.
I agree with that for you.
Like, God damn, you must really be going through it with yourself because... I give people the space and opportunity to show me who you are first, and if you can't even do that, and you play this role, it's crazy.
I definitely feel that with you because I feel like looking at you and knowing who you are, right? I feel like when somebody sees you, I mean, I feel like you could tell like you're an in-depth person. I don't know. I just feel like when you see you, and you see a picture of yourself, it's like, oh, she gets deep. But I feel like from my experience, I think people see me like dancing on tables and like and taking shots and saying, fuck ass girl. They're like, oh, she just here for the vibes. So I think that when I get deep and vulnerable, they're like, what the fuck? I did not know it was gonna be this. I thought we were just gonna be partying.
The second agreement is don't take anything personal.
Don't take it personal.
But I took that shit personal because I really thought about it and I'm like, me? Why would you do that to me?
Yeah, that's crazy. I often say that too when certain, and then sometimes they don't even be like
no, not even like in a stush way, but like
no, I'm sorry. You know that I know what she's talking about. If you ever watch, and you have some nerve because
all of them,
you get grace, and I'm like, you're not even on that level.
It's crazy to me. It's really crazy to me. But yes, I have. I feel like people have definitely manipulated me being vulnerable to them.
Also, I think it's just
with them
for like conquering. So I think some people too have been like that because they want to conquer something.
And that's a you problem.
Definitely. Yeah. So, but yeah, I definitely, fuck them. But yeah. Yeah, because then I got to get back on my bullshit. I got to get back on my bully.
Then I got to be, for real, I'm back on my bully because that's crazy.
Yeah, but then I had to like learn to not like fight like the actual...
revoke access is what it is.
I love to revoke access on a motherfucker.
That's what it is.
Whether it's friends, because I feel like, it's going to be another word. I feel like with friends, you get vulnerable.
You can't spin the block.
You cannot.
See, you can't spin the block.
I think that's how I know me and this guy are supposed to probably be together forever because we are the only ones that we spin the block for each other. Even friends, you cannot spin the fucking block for me. If you know you lost your motherfucking head top.
Where'd you come from with this head top? Where'd it come from?
I don't know. It's real Jamaican. And I'm Jamaican. And you play a part of my head top and you
take me for idiot.
When I invite you into my space or like...
That's your love language.
That's one
of your love languages.
This girl knows.
That is.
My love language is when I invite you into my life and my experiences, I fucking love you.
Yeah.
And being vulnerable is that we both know about each other's shortcomings, right? If I don't know any about your shortcomings and you're just showing like you're perfect, that's weird to me. And to me, I know you cannot, your friends are your friends and you can't, what they choose to do is not like on you, right? Mm-hmm. But it's kind of what P. Diddy said. I don't know if you saw that post that I posted yesterday.
I did. I saw that.
And it was like...
And you wholeheartedly live by that. It's true.
And I said, thank the Lord that I'm not... He is so... If we're not doing this together and you can't show me parts of you and teach me how to do things differently, and it don't got to be monetary. It could be the way...
energy exchange.
It could be the way you take care of your business. Even though you might be struggling, it's the way you take care of your business. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might be going negative, but guess what? You still go to work every day and you still putting your head towards a goal. Mm-hmm. You're not going out into drinking and smoking yourself to oblivion. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're putting yourself on a path. Vulnerability to me is just being yourself, authentically yourself, no matter what you come from, no matter what your story is. Embrace your struggle, because
I feel like that makes a story.
It does, and I feel like I respect you more when you come from I don't know. I just feel like I respect you more when I know you overcome adversity.
Absolutely.
And you're still a funny, good person. Lighthearted, funny as hell, not using it as a way to cover up what you're really fucking going through.
I 1,000% agree with that. 1,000% agree with that. I feel like that makes a good story.
It does.
It makes a good, like, relatable story.
And I think we're in a day and age, too, where people are not, like, people are hanging out. Like, okay, so we all know people have influencers and people have this, people have those connections.
Yeah.
And you have to be very wary of people and knowing that it's a true connection rather than, oh, you're vulnerable right now and you need a friend. So and I know you're going places, so let me just tag along.
Ride your coattail, right? Yeah.
I'm looking at my camera right there.
Yeah.
So you have to practice discernment. You have to be very wary. I'm not saying don't trust people at all. I mean, let me shut up because I don't trust nobody. But
yo,
I don't. There's a very few select people I trust.
Oh my God.
With my life. Like a very few. And even then, sometimes there are certain people outside of those small circle where I'm still like, but you be moving funny on Monday.
That's funny. I mean, that's not funny. It is funny, but that's true.
My antenna's up. You was moving funny, a little funny on Tuesday.
It's true.
Let me just I'm gonna take a step back and see what you're doing.
But is that part of the wall that you've always built? That you think that people are like that, or are they really like that?
I think it's half and half. I think it's part of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's what you always, I'm going to keep going back to what you and your friend said that day. It's the way you show up for me. It's the consistency.
Mm-hmm.
It's the consistency. So I think a lot of people think just because like I know you or we're cool that you're just going to come with me, and you're fucking not. I don't give a fuck if we have the same bloodline. You're just not. If I don't see you repost or I don't see you shout out.
Well, let me tell you something.
If you know you have never done it, if you've never done it from the first day we said we were doing this, you're not coming with me, bro.
You know how I feel about that because I said this. So outside of this, you know, me and Akina have our own other endeavors, right, and our own businesses. So I said this from the get-go. I remember when I first had when I started my other business, my first business that I had, and I just, you know, you were always supporting me, you know, but there were people that I was just like, you know, you gotta side them a little bit because it's like
the second you pop, they're gonna be on your dick, bro.
What's going on though?
Excuse my language. I don't really give it for this ain't for kids.
And
but
you can always support in different ways, but it's just like now I don't feel like I can be vulnerable with you because I feel like there's some there.
And the minute I pop, suck my dick. The minute I pop, suck it from the back.
In the side.
I'm so serious because it's really like I know we've been saying this for a few episodes, but like I'm really.
Oh, we gonna keep saying it every episode.
Suck it from the back. If I haven't seen a comment, a like, a repost, I don't want to be like, oh, I know that girl. You don't fucking know me. You know of me.
Ooh, a word.
Okay.
Yes, that is a few things because yes, I like that. You don't know me. You know of me.
You know of me.
You know me from where?
Elementary school.
I don't know you, man.
And I'm Brittany gonna be my buffer because they're gonna be like, oh my god, so bitch, no.
Y'all just remember the tour bus.
And the jet.
Please remember the tour bus.
And the jet.
And the jet. We're gonna write messages in the sky.
Yeah.
And they're gonna say, fuck you.
I told you what it's gonna say.
I'm just joking.
I should have been better. That's what it's gonna say. You probably should have been a better person. That's what it's gonna say. But you know why I get like that is because I feel like I feel like on this platform we are vulnerable. Because this is a type of vulnerability that you cannot make up.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about these things to unpack what we feel and how I think
people
millions of people can go through can identify.
Because not for nothing, there are people who hit us up and they're like, you know, I love your podcast because it's really relatable. I go through the same things. People.
I have a sidebar for that. I have a shadow side for that when you're done.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Okay. But you know, you step back and you're like, that's why you do it.
Yeah.
That's why you do it. What's the shadow side, sis? Because I know it wants to come out.
The shadow side is you are no longer going to ask for advice.
Ooh.
It is a consultation fee, $20. Oh. I don't want to hear what candle should I use.
You know what?
I was going to post on my Instagram. I'm like, they're going to think I'm angry. And let me not stop because I'm not angry. I'm very much happy. I'm very at peace. But I also don't like people playing my motherfucking head top. Yeah. So, we back to the head top.
Please don't play with her head top.
So,
don't play with the girl.
It's activated. I'll pull some oracle cards and it says I'm in my light activation phase right now, and that makes sense. I'm like taking all the messages in, and no longer, especially, and I said this, the people who be looking at our stories, and I know you're gonna watch this, and I'm gonna make sure I soundbite this and clip it for you so you feel like I'm talking to you. No longer will you ask me or Britt, what candle should you use? How did you do this to get through this? If I don't see a fucking repost, bro, it's a consultation fee. Okay.
And it's not like we posted. So it would be different if we're talking about something like so esoteric. We're talking about things that are relatable that you could repost. Because some people feel funny about spirituality, you know what I'm saying, and reposting things like that. But it's not something that we're saying that's off the wall. These are things that people talk about and you go through.
And then they hit you up on the side asking for advice.
That is a little
weird. You know what candle did you use? I heard your story. What book do you use?
Now that she's talking about it.
Consultation fee.
I can't fucking take it.
$20. I need my money. Run me my check. Run me my check. Bro. I'm done. That's the shadow side of it. That's the vulnerable side of it. Stop playing with my head top.
I guess that's the time you're prompted to be less vulnerable.
Yeah.
That was question number 6.
What prompts me to be less vulnerable when people play upon my head top? Because, like, too many people watch us collectively. I know this is going to sound crazy. I think collectively between our social medias, we have, like, a lot of views. Yeah. Okay? And it's funny because it doesn't equate to like, the feedback, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny because then there's other people on a random day, I'll post something and be like, girl, I've been going through that.
Or
and
they react to other stories and I'm like, but I know you saw what I...
And a lot of people unpack onto us. A lot of people unpack onto us. Mm-hmm. Okay? A lot of people just
yes.
Blah.
Yes.
So I realized the other day, I said, some of these people I haven't even seen them do a fucking repost. And that don't cost nothing. So now that you want to be like that, it's $20, my nigga.
I have people, this is not a lie. This is not a lie. I have people, when I wake up, there's a text message. Brittany, I need to talk to you. Like, wait, $20. What? And it'll be something spiritual.
$20. You should start charging.
And they'll like send me this long paragraph, and sometimes I ignore it. I really do.
$20.
That's my even energy exchange, because you're not gonna drain me. That's what we.
Or you could repost it, and then I'll feel like, oh my God, it's an even exchange of knowledge and love, right? But there's only a very selective few who can hit me and ask me about things, you know. And I get it.
Y'all all can hit me.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna respond to
you know,
not all of you.
But I think that I have put my foot down in this. I have left people on red.
I have too. Absolutely.
I feel myself putting people on, because even like the other day, I think I had put my license, not my license number, but I got my license for New York.
Yes, she did, y'all. Congratulations. My girl in
I was very hurt. And I don't know if she'll probably see this, and, you know, I haven't really spoken about it, but instead of her saying congratulations, she was like, how did you do it? I don't like that shit. So now I can't even be vulnerable with you like that. Because
at least say congratulations first.
I'm so simple, Brittany.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a Leo moon, so I do like words of affirmation.
Yeah.
I do like, I love hearing somebody like, oh my God, girl, congratulations. It don't even got to be like on my dick, just congratulations. But the fact that it wasn't even a hi. It was like, how did you do it? Did you have to go to class? Did you have to, whoa.
Yeah, you do not like stuff like that.
You haven't learned who I am by now? So now I'm leaving you on scene. Now you have to learn. You have to grow.
You have to grow. We gonna bring it back.
So I'm gonna
shout out to Jaylene.
You know, sorry to that girl. I thought it was my friend.
I think I know who that is. But that sounds like something she would do.
Yeah, I thought it was my friend, and I was just like, that's fucking weird. Like, why? And whether you're going through something or not, like, say congratulations.
Yeah.
Don't open, and y'all know how I am. Like, most of y'all know who are close to me, or like kind of know me. Like, you know how I operate. So to hit me with like, oh, how'd you do that?
You left her on red.
I left her on red. I left her on scene. And I wanted a boycott. I didn't like nothing.
Boycott.
I'll mute you to Neverary.
I went on a boycott.
Just so you know, I don't give a fuck.
I went on a social media boycott, and I'm muting you.
I am very intentional on that stupid ass app.
You are. It's so funny. You know, okay, so, but I get it, because some people are like that. Some people, I had to learn.
Don't get it confused.
I had to learn, because me and Akina, this is where we differ in that, though. Me and Akina differ in that, but I totally 1000% get your view. I do.
I'm an RN. Not only am I RN, I'm an RN. I'm a real nigga. So I can't do it. I can't do it.
She a real nigga. That's what that.
That's why that.
Can I say that? Sorry.
It's like that post where I was like, the 7 of y'all that saw this, I know y'all gonna see it again. I was finna screenshot you, but I'm not gonna embarrass you, cause I'm real. Like, I'm intentional. You want to see how crazy I fucking look? I'm gonna screenshot it so you can see how. And then you know the next thing, ego. It's given why you so obsessed with me. And they're gonna be like, bitch, I'm not obsessed. She thinks we obsessed. We don't give a fuck. Then why you watching me so hard, bruh? Okay.
I love her fire energy. I've always loved.
It's the Aries fire, Leo moon.
I just be like,
because it's true.
It is. No, I completely understand. For me, y'all know I don't give a fuck. And when I say I don't give a fuck you. Like, I really don't care.
But don't follow me. But that's my thing.
I get it. No, I get your
I don't mind you saying
viewpoint.
I don't mind you saying fuck you.
Yeah.
But don't look at my shit.
But then don't look at my shit. I get that. I completely get that.
Keep it all the way 100, because I ain't looking at your shit.
Yeah.
Because I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So why am I looking at you?
Is it the same people every time?
All the time.
Okay, so I was gonna be like, this is my little playing devil's advocate. Like, maybe they thumb slip. No, it's the same people every
And I hate
time.
that when people are like, oh, I'm just watching. No, because I'll be watching. If I see a certain thing that I don't want to see, I'm just gonna go over it. Like, I'm very intentional. Like, I am so intentional that I'll mute you if I don't want to see you.
You do that. You know, I didn't know you could do that. Now I know how you could do that.
So I find myself being extra vulnerable, and I feel like that helps.
It's not reciprocated.
Yeah, and I feel like if people suck your energy.
Yeah.
And I feel like
I get that.
People are like, oh, you're so funny on the surface. This is real life.
I completely understand where you're coming from with that, because I know you.
Yeah.
I know how you operate. And some people are really, really like that. Some people are really like that.
So weird. This is a very weird place.
But it is. Social media is a very weird place. None of this shit is real. I don't know if anybody saw that post that I posted.
Yeah, and I always say to Britt, I'm like, if it wasn't for like the spiritual tip and us and our endeavors,
if God came down today and said delete everything, I would delete everything.
I would just have Twitter.
I'd be okay.
Because Twitter is where I could really be vulnerable and like either people are gonna retweet it.
Live me life.
It's just a diary of like your thoughts, and I like that Twitter is like that.
What? I have 11 followers on Twitter right now because I just made it and I am content. And
it's awesome.
I'm still be tweeting.
It's awesome. I watch a show and I'm like, do, this show's good. And then somebody retweets it and you're like, yeah, they feel me, you know, or it's a day where you get like 20 retweets, you know?
Yeah,
but I feel like I would only have Twitter. If I did not have this, I would only have Twitter.
Just to tweet your thoughts, right?
Yeah, because
that's why I have it, because I just like tweeting my thoughts.
Just because I'm always thinking, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like
that's why I feel like I made a Twitter again. I'm like, I have too many thoughts right now.
I have a lot of thoughts, and I think, like I said, it's my Gemini rising probably. But I just look at things and I dissect, and that might be my Gemini too. I dissect things, I break it down, and I'm also like an Aquarius, so I'm just like,
you see things that other people don't see in the way that you see.
Yeah,
I get that.
So I'm just like, I don't want to be here with y'all. I don't give a fuck.
I'm an alien.
Yeah, like
I'm an alien on an
I
unknown
don't want to do this. Like I don't
want to do this.
But then I know there's other people who could really learn from things and can really be like, I didn't have the words to say it, but you said it. So it's a very weird place. Like you don't want to like.
You're supposed to do it.
Yeah, you don't want to take away from people who can learn from it.
My ear's going off.
See, yeah, because you don't want to take from people who could actually learn from it. But with that, you also have people that are there just to kind of just. I always tell you when I see certain things, I see like.
Well, shout out to my girl because I got a reading and that was exactly what she said to me. She said, you know, it's
they be so annoyed.
They be so annoyed, and it's like it's not like you're doing anything, and it's not anything very bad that they're sending you, but it's like because I really believe in the equal eye. I really truly do. Okay, I stay adorned up because people are crazy and they don't know that they're doing it.
No, they do not.
They don't know that they're doing it sometimes, and they don't mean to do it. Right? They don't know so bad. Mm-hmm. They don't know. But I had a reading and she was like, you know, people scrolled and they're like, and she literally did exactly what you just did. She was like, they're just like, whatever, and keep it moving. And I think that's so wild to me. Mm-hmm. It's wild.
It's wild. Like when I have my protection dreams, I know what it has to deal with. I know it's like, even when I got my own reading, she said to me, shout out to her, she knows who she is. She said to me straight up, like, don't share everything. Like, don't share. And this is not the first time I've heard that.
Go ahead.
So if you follow me, you could see that I show things, but now I'm very cognizant of like what I show. I don't even show myself that much anymore. I used to put myself on
private
the screen.
Life, happy life.
Yeah, and
that's not being secretive.
It's not being secretive. It's just like I know a lot of people have their thoughts, and it may not even be like they're negative towards me, but it's the fact like I've heard through the grapevine people be like, oh, how come she got that and I don't? And it's kind of like, how did she get that? How does that man do this? And how does she get? And I just don't like that because I'm never looking at you like how'd you get that?
I don't do that to you.
If anything, I'm studying your technique because I think it's admirable.
And I can learn from it. I had a whole dream that somebody pulled off my evil eye necklace.
Then you said it broke.
And it broke this morning. Okay, yeah, but in my dream, not last night. I had this dream last night, but I had this dream a few weeks ago, and somebody literally took it and snatched it off.
Well, that's because people can't penetrate you, and they're really annoyed by that.
And then I had this morning, it broke. I'm still fucking wear it, though. Yeah. I found another loop.
So,
okay.
Yours is a little different. I think yours is like they can't read you, so they want to, they don't like that. Whereas for me, I think it's, damn, we see you out and stuff, but you didn't include me. I want to be where you guys are at. And I'm just like...
I think it's a little bit of both.
I'm friendly, but I'm just like, I don't trust you.
But I think it's a little bit of both for both of us.
Yeah.
Because you're not overly...
No.
You don't overly share either.
I do not.
And I don't overly share either.
If anything, I'm more in your face of like when you don't show up for me.
So that just brings this all back together of why sometimes it's really hard to be vulnerable with people. But we have our select people who we are vulnerable with.
Because they're intentions. It's about intentions. And I think...
And one thing we can do is read through intentions.
Yes. And we are very intentional people.
Yeah.
We are so... I think sometimes to the point where it's like... We have people around us who are like, just be. And they're like, but I feel everything. So it's kind of hard to just be when I can feel this motherfucker ain't real.
Yeah.
And I could see a picture and know that something's wrong, something's off with you.
You are good at that. You probably get that from your mom.
Yeah, probably. So I am vulnerable in a therapeutic way, but I'm also okay with pulling it back because I just feel like people could do energy work on that. I just feel like people get to know you sometimes and they can use that against you.
So did we kind of touch on this, I guess? This is this is our last question. How do you know when loved ones are being vulnerable with you? Oh, we did not.
No, we didn't. But I said I know loved ones are being vulnerable with me when they get into their shadow side, when they talk about their shadow, when they talk about the things that people don't know that they go through. I feel like with you, I feel like with Jen, I feel like even with Jaylene, when me and Jaylene went to Honduras and we were talking, like we were on the bed, I'm gonna get emotional because I feel like my cousin's a Pisces. So I feel like when you think you know something about somebody, I feel like with Pisces, you'll never really, they're kind of like Taurus in a sense. Yeah. You'll never really know exactly who they are, right?
Probably the only Pisces I like.
Oh, and a Scorpios. I think because my sister, Aaliyah too, I feel like.
Aaliyah's a Scorpio?
Aaliyah's Scorpio. Yeah, Leah's Scorpio.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, Leah's a Scorpio.
She's a very...
Yeah, come on, she's a Scorpio girl. She got to read you.
You're not going to see me.
No.
She is very...
I remember when Martha walked up to her, she was like, hey girl! Because Martha was my sister, and my sister was like, who's this girl? But Aaliyah has, she's a black woman too. I think that when you've gone through certain things and you just...
that makes so much sense.
Yeah, so she was like, at first she's like, I didn't know how to respond. But, then I realized she was your friend, and it was like, oh my God, we're sisters too! She's like, but at first I'm like, I don't know this girl, who the fuck is this? But even talking to Jaylene, me and Jaylene have been close forever. But
that's my cousin, y'all.
That's my cousin. When we went to Honduras, we just laying on the bed. There's no TV. There's no fancy
distractions.
There's no distractions. Just us chilling on the bed. We rolled up real quick. We just talking, and I'm just hearing her talk about things that I've never heard her talk about with me. And in that moment, I knew our relationship. Something was added to our relationship. I knew that we opened up another level of sisterhood. Yeah. Because I knew things of her experiences that she's never talked about. She's a very tough person. She's a very you need to know all that, Yes. And I know she trusts me.
I fucks with that because...
That's how I know she trusts me, because she talked about things that she never talked about before. And
do you feel like you have that way of pulling things out of people?
I feel that
because I feel like I do that with you too.
I feel like you guys know my story, so it's like...
there's some things I told Akina that has happened years ago. Yeah. You're like, I never knew that.
Yeah. But I feel like it's because I'm so transparent about things I've been through.
Yeah.
And I'm so open with you guys about choices I've made in my life that I may not be comfortable with, but I still did it.
Yeah.
And I think that allows the people around me to be vulnerable, because I do share these experiences, even though it may not feel good.
Yes.
I know it's better to share it than to leave it on myself.
Yeah.
Because I could go dark.
And then it does feel good after.
And it does feel great.
You let it out.
And there have been summers where I felt really dark, and I felt like I didn't want to be here anymore. And it was just because I was keeping everything inside. And my partner has seen me go through some really dark times where I'm just like, I just don't want to be here, Yeah. But me talking about it and not being afraid to expose those parts of me. I think it allows...
That's healthy.
Yeah, I think it allows my people, my tribe, to do it.
That's a great answer.
Definitely.
That's a great answer. And I'm not trying to be like Mrs. Me Too, but
no.
Also when I was on my trip in Panama, me and my cousin, shout out to Kayla, we have never gone deep.
Yeah.
She's always been my cousin, and we've always kicked it and had fun, but we haven't gone deep. In our 30s, I was sitting on the couch with her in the living room, no TV, you said, no distractions. We had our phones, but we turned our phones off.
Right, we had our phones, but
she
it's not the same.
Unpacked a lot. And I told her a lot, and we were just looking at each other like, bitch, you went through that?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, bitch, you went through that? And
even
it was just
stories and testimonies, you're like, I didn't know you thought that way.
And our bond has gotten stronger.
Yeah, because it's a different type of love. It's a different vulnerability level. And I feel like certain people in my life, I have never been able to be that vulnerable because they don't feel that comfortable being vulnerable with me.
Yeah.
Even though my life is pretty transparent.
I guess my answer is the same. When people, you could just feel when somebody's being vulnerable. Like you said last night, you could feel it off people. And when I think because sometimes when I'm vulnerable, it allows people to be vulnerable too. Because then it's such a shock when I'm vulnerable, right, to certain people. So they're like, oh, okay, I can be vulnerable with you and tell you things.
I couldn't believe it. Certain things that came out of her mouth, I was like, I didn't know you were like this. And she's like, yeah, I just, I'm me, and not everything's for everybody. And I'm like, I feel you. And that's what and then that's the same person who always tells me, Akina, protect yourself. It's not for everybody. And it didn't dawn on me probably for the past years when I really started ending up, and weird things would happen where people would stop and tell me things, or I would get readings, and I would hear Jaylene's voice. I would hear Jaylene's words.
Well, because Jaylene a little bruja.
Yeah, Jaylene definitely connected. And
nobody tell me that.
Yeah, definitely connected. And she'd be like,
you
need to protect.
Her energy is very strong.
Very strong. And she's like, you need to protect your authenticity. You need to protect it because people want to suck it out of you. She don't care who it is. She'll let me know. Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting.
Dirty.
Yeah. And it's out of love because you know what? If it was like that, if she wasn't tapped in, she wouldn't say it.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely true.
There's obviously something that's next to her sedes or mine are like, you need to tell her that.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I think transparency, vulnerability, surrendering all go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you are able to do those things with people, discernment is a huge thing to figure out before you do this with people, whether you're dating or it's your friendships. And I think too, if you're not getting vulnerability from your friends, it's technically not like even exchange of energy, especially if you're a vulnerable person with your friends.
I want you guys to notice we didn't touch on the romantic part of vulnerability that much this episode because it's not the only type.
And I think it's an umbrella.
It is. It's an umbrella, and it covers everything. Vulnerable is vulnerable.
Yeah.
So let's leave the people with a spiritual tip today about vulnerability.
Surrender to the divine.
Surrender. Let go.
Let go, let flow. Let go, let flow, let God. You were fine before, you'll be fine after. I think that in the people I've, like friendships that I've lost.
And it doesn't hurt you, really.
It doesn't hurt you. I've lost friendships where I felt I was very vulnerable. And if anything, I feel like God has blessed me even more.
Yeah. What did we say last week? If it's not your door,
another one will open.
If it doesn't open, it's not your door. Same thing.
Yeah. So I feel like me being vulnerable has never led me the wrong way. It's always, what it's done is like, okay,
it leads you to authenticity.
Because you're living your truth.
Yeah. Amen.
And that's that.
This here Saturday morning.
So get into your Sunday spiritual tip. Okay, Takina and Britt. Oh my God, we didn't do our tag today because we were just laughing.
Oh, we were just laughing.
Yeah, so it's Takina and Britt
on the spiritual tip,
where we talk about some spiritual shit. You guys have a happy Sunday because this is when you're gonna see it. And
we love you.
Be great. Be love people. Be nice and be authentic.
Yeah, because everybody's fighting a battle you don't fucking know about. All right.
Be nice. Be a good person.
Okay.
Bye.
Love you.